You're not behind, you're being rebuilt. And here's the disturbing reality: psychologists studying post-traumatic growth have discovered that people who experience significant setbacks and consciously choose to rebuild achieve 62% higher success rates than those who never failed at all. Your rock bottom isn't your ending, it's your foundation. But most people waste their lowest point drowning in shame instead of using it as fuel. By the end of this video, I'll reveal the exact comeback protocol that turns failure into rocket fuel in 30 days. But first, you need to see what staying stuck in your setback is stealing from your future. Let me show you what's happening right now. You failed. You lost something. A job, a relationship, a business, a dream. And you've been replaying it in your head for weeks, months, maybe years. You've turned the failure into your identity. You're not someone who failed. You're a failure. And that identity is killing your comeback before it even starts. Because you can't rebuild while you're busy being broken. You can't move forward while you're stuck in the story of what went wrong. And that story is a prison you've built yourself. And only you have the key. Here's what nobody tells you about comebacks. They don't start when you feel ready. They start when you decide you're done being a victim of your past. Most people wait for the pain to stop, for the shame to fade, for confidence to return. But those things don't come before the comeback. They come during it. You don't heal and then rebuild. You rebuild while healing. And the rebuilding is what creates the healing. But you have to move before you feel like it. You have to act while you're still broken. And that's the part most people can't do. Now here's the brutal part. Every day you stay in the narrative of your failure, you're compounding the damage. The original setback hurt you once, but the story you're telling yourself about it is hurting you every single day. You're not just dealing with what happened, you're dealing with the meaning you've attached to it. And that meaning is destroying you more than the event ever did, because the event is in the past, but the meaning is present. And present poison is far more dangerous than past pain. Let me tell you what staying stuck in your setback costs you. First, time. You're wasting months or years replaying something that's already over. Second, identity. You're becoming someone defined by what you lost instead of what you're building. Third, opportunities. You're so focused on the past that you're missing the present. Fourth, relationships. People don't want to be around someone who's stuck. They want to be around someone who's rising. And right now, you're sinking and taking everyone close to you down with you. Here's what's actually happening in your brain. When you experience failure, your brain creates a trauma narrative. It's trying to make sense of the pain by building a story. And the default story is almost always self-blame. I wasn't good enough. I deserve this. I always fail. And once that narrative is established, your brain looks for evidence to support it. This is confirmation bias. You notice every small mistake, every rejection, every setback, and you ignore the wins, because your brain is trying to confirm the story it already believes. You're not objectively broken. You're selectively focused on brokenness. Now here's the shift that changes everything. A comeback is not about returning to who you were. It's about becoming someone new. The person who failed is not the person who succeeds. You can't go back to the old version and expect different results. You have to evolve. And evolution requires pain. The caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly by staying comfortable. It dissolves into liquid inside the cocoon. It breaks down completely before it rebuilds. And that's where you are right now. Liquefied. And you think that means you're destroyed. But it means you're transforming. Here's the framework. A comeback has 3 phases. Acceptance, reconstruction, emergence. Acceptance is acknowledging what happened without attaching your worth to it. Reconstruction is deliberately building new skills, new beliefs, new behaviors. Emergence is stepping into the new identity you've created. Most people get stuck in phase 1. They never accept, they just resist. They fight reality. And fighting reality is a war you cannot win. So you stop resisting what happened. You accept it. And acceptance is not weakness. It's the starting line. Let me show you what acceptance looks like. It's not "I'm okay with this." It's "this happened. It sucked. And I'm moving forward anyway." You're not pretending it didn't hurt. You're refusing to let the hurt define you. You feel the pain fully. You acknowledge the loss. And then you choose what comes next. Because here's the truth, you can't control what happened to you, but you control what you do with it. And what you do with it determines whether it destroys you or develops you. But here's the trap. Most people confuse acceptance with resignation. Resignation says this is my life now, I guess this is all I get. Acceptance says this happened. Now what? Resignation is passive. Acceptance is active. Resignation gives up. Acceptance gears up. And the difference between the two is the difference between staying stuck and starting your comeback. So you have to choose. Are you resigning? Or are you accepting and moving? Here's the psychology. Your brain has a negativity bias. It's wired to focus on threats and losses more than wins. This kept your ancestors alive, but it's keeping you stuck, because you're replaying the failure on a loop, and your brain is treating it like a current threat instead of a past event. And as long as it's a current threat, you stay in survival mode, and you can't build in survival mode. You can only react. So you have to signal to your brain that the threat is over, and the signal is action. Now here's where it gets interesting. The fastest way to kill the victim narrative is to do one thing that proves you're not powerless. It doesn't have to be big. It has to be intentional. You lost your job. You apply to one place today. You ended a relationship. You go to the gym once. You failed at your business. You learn one new skill. You're creating evidence that you're not stuck, that you're not helpless, that you're someone who moves. And evidence rewrites identity faster than affirmations ever will. Here's the neuroscience. When you take action after a setback, your brain releases dopamine. That's the reward chemical. And dopamine doesn't just make you feel good. It strengthens the neural pathways associated with the action you just took. So when you act, you're literally rewiring your brain to associate movement with reward instead of pain with paralysis. You're building a new pattern. And patterns become automatic. So you start with one action, then another, and before you know it, action is your default, not stagnation. Let me give you the protocol. Step 1, write down what happened without interpretation. Just facts. I lost my job. Not I'm a failure who lost my job. Step 2, separate the event from your identity. This happened to me. It's not who I am. Step 3, identify one skill or behavior you can improve. Step 4, commit to improving it for 30 days. Step 5, track your progress daily. You're shifting from rumination to action, from identity crisis to identity construction. Here's what happens when you execute this. Week 1, you're still in pain, but you're moving through it instead of sitting in it. Week 2, you start to notice small wins. You're not the same person you were 2 weeks ago. Week 3, the victim narrative starts to feel foreign, like it doesn't fit anymore. Week 4, you've built momentum. You're not talking about your comeback, you're living it. And by day 30, you're not the person who failed, you're the person who rebuilt. But here's the part most people miss. You can't rebuild in the same environment that broke you. If you're trying to make a comeback while surrounded by the same people, the same routines, the same triggers, you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back. You need to change your environment, not necessarily physically, but energetically. You need to remove the people who keep you stuck in the old story, the ones who still see you as broken, and you need to surround yourself with people who see you as becoming. Here's what elite performers do during setbacks. They go dark, not to hide, but to rebuild without interference. They stop explaining themselves. They stop seeking validation. They stop performing their pain for an audience. They just work, in private, and they emerge when they're ready. Not when people expect them to, not when the world tells them to, when they've rebuilt, and the world doesn't get to watch the process, they only get to see the result. Now here's the secret method I promised you. It's called the Future Self Framework. Every decision you make, you ask, does this move me closer to who I want to become, or does it keep me stuck in who I was? You're offered the easy distraction, the numbing behavior, the old pattern. You pause and ask the question, and the answer determines the choice. You're not asking, what do I feel like doing? You're asking, what does the version of me I'm becoming do here? And that question cuts through the noise. Here's what happens when you use this framework consistently. You stop making decisions from your current pain and start making them from your future vision. You're not avoiding the discomfort of growth because your present self doesn't like it. You're embracing it because your future self requires it. And every time you choose the future over the past, you're casting a vote for the new identity. And your brain counts votes. And when you've cast enough, the new identity wins. But here's the trap. Some people hear comeback and think it means returning to the same level they were at before. But that's not a comeback, that's a reset. A real comeback means you surpass where you were. You don't just recover, you exceed, because the failure taught you something. It revealed a weakness, a blind spot, a pattern. And if you learned from it, you're now stronger than you were before you fell. So you're not aiming to get back to where you were. You're aiming higher, because you're better equipped now. Here's the identity shift you need. You're not someone trying to recover from failure. You're someone using failure as data. Every setback is feedback. Every loss is a lesson. Every mistake is a map showing you what doesn't work. And that information is invaluable, because now you know. You won't make the same mistake twice. You won't take the same path. You're not repeating the past. You're correcting it. And correction leads to elevation. Let me show you what happens if you don't start your comeback now. A year from now, you're in the same place, still talking about what went wrong, still stuck in the story, still waiting for the universe to hand you permission to try again. But permission isn't coming. The only person who can start your comeback is you. And the only time you can start is now. Not when you feel ready. Now. Not when the pain stops. Now. Because the pain doesn't stop until you start moving. Here's the truth. Your comeback story is being written right now. Every action you take today is a sentence. Every choice is a word. And you're either writing a story of victimhood or victory, of stagnation or transformation, of staying stuck or rising up. And the story you're writing today is the story people will tell about you years from now. So make it worth telling. Now let me tell you what your comeback requires. It requires you to stop explaining and start executing, to stop justifying your past and start building your future, to stop waiting for the right feeling and start creating the right habits. It requires you to be okay with people not understanding, to be okay with moving in silence, to be okay with being doubted, because their doubt doesn't matter, your action does. Here's what happens when you commit to the comeback. You stop caring about who left, you start appreciating who stayed. You stop mourning what you lost. You start building what's next. You stop being defined by your worst moment. You start being defined by your response to it. And that response is everything. Because the setback is not your story. The comeback is. So here's what you're doing today. Right now, you're writing down one action that moves you forward. Not a big one, a small one. And you're doing it. Today. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel better. Today. Because your comeback doesn't start when you're healed. It starts when you decide to heal through action. And that decision is not emotional. It's volitional. It's a choice. And you're making it now. Because your comeback starts the moment you stop being a victim of what happened and start being the architect of what's next. It starts when you stop replaying the past and start building the future. It starts when you decide that the failure was not the end. It was the setup. And what comes next is the story people remember. Your comeback starts now, not because you're ready, but because you decided. And decision is all you need. What's your first move?